The child within each of us has probably endured wounds from our families at least once. When we recall our childhood, we might remember joyful days playing with friends, sunny days and rain showers, but we can never forget the beatings or the harsh words from our parents. We might not remember exactly how many times we cried, but the feeling of being hurt when our parents called us rebellious might never fade. Family wounds often heal silently and slowly for this reason. No one teaches us how to heal, and we don't know where to begin. We grow up learning to be silent, learning to endure, telling ourselves that perhaps we are too sensitive, that our parents also suffer, and that we must try our best to please them. And so, we forget that we ourselves also need to be heard, to be embraced, to be told that we are worthy of love. Humans are inherently social beings. We are born to love and be loved. Whether animal or human, we all need an energy called love to nourish our souls. We might deny it again and again. We might try to appear strong, calm, or even indifferent, but the truth is, we always need a hug, a gentle look, a word of affirmation from our parents, from the first people to touch our lives. The child within us always craves that love. It needs to be comforted. Today, let's sit and listen to the letters from these children who long to be comforted. Let's begin. The first letter is from Ian. Mom and Dad, do you know that I am very insecure about myself? I can burst into tears anytime someone says something about my appearance. When I was 10, I loved to dance and sing. But the teachers at school told me I was ugly and fat, with dark skin. With an appearance like that, I would spoil the school's performance team. I cried alone so much then. I wished I could share those feelings with you. I longed for comfort, but you said I was crazy, that only incompetent, mentally unstable people would think such things. Even when confiding in the closest people, I still felt lonely. I just wished you would hug me and say, "No, you are beautiful, you are very special in our eyes." Every day I go to school, I wear a mask to hide the ugliness on my face. Yet this world won't leave me alone. My classmates keep intentionally pulling off my mask and saying the cruelest things. Oh, what should I do? I wanted to cry so much, Mom and Dad, but I didn't dare because I knew if I cried, they would tease and ridicule me even more. I just wanted to go home and lock myself in my room alone. When a child self-harms, it's when their mental endurance has reached its limit and they crave love and attention. Did you know that, Mom and Dad? But because you were too busy when you saw those marks on my arms, you didn't ask or give me a hug, did you? My heart is lonely now and my soul is scared. I don't dare to play with my classmates, don't dare to participate in school activities. Even when people tell me to take off my mask and promise not to laugh, I'm still so scared. I could burst into tears right then, just from overwhelming fear. Mom and Dad, could you please care about me just a little bit? The second letter is from Boy. I'm a 19-year-old girl. Since childhood, I've lived in a well-off family. I have everything I want, but what I truly want is my parents' love. I carry psychological wounds from my family and scars on my skin from beatings. My parents care a lot about my studies, especially my achievements. They never see how hard I try, they only look at the results to judge me. Every time I get a bad grade, my mom would explode and slap me. Each time, I felt like I was a burden to them. I'm truly not okay. This year for my birthday, I went for a psychological evaluation and was diagnosed with severe depression. I don't know what to do anymore. I truly don't know how to face this life. I've been hit so much. Old wounds haven't healed before new ones appear. What should I do? I'm still undergoing treatment for depression for quite a long time. I don't want to tell my parents because I'm afraid that even if I do, they won't care about me, leaving me to drown in 4 or 5 meters of water. Mom and Dad, do you know your daughter is suffocating? The next letter is from someone who refers to herself simply as she. She doesn't know when she became like this. She's ugly in body and in spirit. She's not good at all. She always wants to be unique but fears being unique. She always feels lonely and lost in a crowd. She's terrified when darkness covers the room. Each day drags on endlessly as if time stands still. Everything repeats, mechanical and utterly boring. She doesn't know how she's managed to live until today. She looks at the calendar and wonders why she keeps forcing herself to go on. She is easily hurt. Just a slightly harsh word can make her cry. Just a few hateful glances directed at her can torment her for a long time. She is always obsessed with pleasing others. Even though no one forces her to satisfy everyone, she still forces herself to be kind to them. She always tries to force a crooked smile onto that ugly face. She hates the feeling of being abandoned, so she always tries to stand out to others. Even though she knows whatever she does, she will always remain insignificant. Since her fake kindness was mercilessly discarded, she realized that she truly was nothing, constantly chasing some invisible standard and losing her true self. And she doesn't even know what her true self is. She gradually withdraws, communicates less, and puts on a mask full of deceit. She lives but feels like she's living as a replaceable object. She has thought about suicide. She creates scars on her arms to remind herself of her foolish decision. She can't tell her parents. She can only make up an excuse that she fell off her bike and her arms scraped against a fence. Mom, if anyone asks her if she's okay, she'll still smile brightly and say, "I'm perfectly fine." But when she returns to her room, she collapses and cries out loud. Right now, she is not okay at all. The fourth letter is from you. I was born into a modest family. My parents went to work far away when I was in kindergarten, so they left me with relatives. The lack of family affection from a young age made me withdrawn, quiet, and friendless. I have an older brother who is very talented, the pride of my parents. I, on the other hand, was always compared, sometimes even considered a burden to the family. In middle school and high school, I started trying harder to reassure my parents. I improved my academic performance and joined the gifted student team. In 8th grade, when I held 2 certificates of merit in my hands, I thought my parents would be very happy. But when I got home, Mom just glanced at my report card and then compared me to other people's children. When I mentioned the Honorable Mention Award for gifted students, Mom just told me that award was just for comforting the less capable students. From then on, I knew that no matter how hard I tried, I could never escape my brother's shadow. Although I remained on the team, I didn't win any awards in 9th grade because I lost interest in studying. Mom didn't encourage me. She even scoffed, "If you don't win, why bother competing?" In high school, Mom forced me to study medicine so the family could have something to boast about. I was always an obedient child, so after the 11th grade exam, I plunged into the science block, studying 12th grade curriculum in advance, sleeping only 4 hours a day, eating frugally, and living sparingly because I was studying far from home. For a while, I suffered from depression, experiencing continuous insomnia for many days. Despite all this, I still achieved good results and got accepted into many medical schools. Yet, my heart felt incredibly empty. I realized that for the past 18 years, I had only lived for my parents, never once for myself. So, I didn't apply to medical school but chose a biology field at a polytechnic university. It wasn't my biggest passion, but at least it allowed me to be myself. When my parents found out, they were furious and cursed at me terribly. For a period, my parents and I didn't even look at each other, didn't say a single word. But eventually, they accepted it and allowed me to study, though they constantly reiterated that studying that field wasn't as good as studying medicine, and what would I even do with it? Would I be able to support myself? I once thought that if I continued to live according to my mother's wishes, studying and doing something I didn't like, forcing myself into the mold my parents set, then my university years and the rest of my life would repeat in the same way. Although the path ahead is unclear, I feel relieved because, for the first time, I could decide my own life, which makes me feel like I am finally myself. The last letter is from Bun. Mom and Dad, have you ever stopped and asked me if I'm tired or if I feel pressured? Or is all your attention focused on my grades? Every time you ask about test scores, about academic achievements, I feel like a machine, only valued by lifeless numbers. Sometimes I wonder if you are truly proud of me, or just proud of the scores I achieve. Are my scores what make you proud to show off to others, like a piece of jewelry, to prove that you have done well in raising me? I feel suffocated by expectations, by comparisons to friends, and by the feeling that no matter how hard I try, I'm never good enough. Mom and Dad, do you know how many times I've felt inferior to my friends? There are days when I look around and see them moving forward while I stand still, and all I want to do is cry. I'm not just tired from homework. I'm also tired from the pressure of always needing high grades, of always having to make you proud. I no longer feel joy in going to school. There is only fear, exhaustion, and helplessness. I don't blame you for wanting me to be excellent, but I wish that besides demanding scores, you would also ask me if I am happy. I am not just a score on a test. I am not a piece of jewelry for you to be proud of in front of others. I am also a child who knows fatigue, who needs love and understanding. There's a truth that we sometimes don't realize. Even if we think everything we do is for ourselves, in reality, we are living for our families more than we imagine. Because we love our parents, we choose to overcome difficulties on our own, quietly solving every problem in life, just so they don't have to worry or grieve. Even when our parents sometimes burden us with their fatigue and negative emotions after a long day of struggle, we remain silent, keeping our pain inside and choosing obedience as a form of comfort. Even when we are deeply troubled, sadness, when suppressed for too long, will be like a tree that roots deeply into the earth. The more we try to bury it, the more it clings, penetrates deeply, and then one day, we no longer know how to pull it out. Over time, life's pressures make parents stricter and less gentle. Sometimes, they no longer have the patience to listen to their growing child with so many wounds. Children just carry their hurt and grow mature. Then, in turn, they too will become dry and strict with the world around them, like an endless repeating cycle. So, if we have been strong enough to bury our emotions, this time, let's be brave enough to speak out once more. Speak out to comfort our own hearts, and then listen to understand our parents. This episode might be a little sad, but I hope those children have found some comfort, some strength to bravely move forward on their future journeys.